Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned this truth. And shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And I'm probably going to call this one like Speak to Israel or something along those lines. First, I wanted to take a look at this word commission and what its biblical definition is. It says in the Bible, a commission is an authoritative mandate, task, or mission given by the Most High or Yahweh Shai HaMashiach to individuals or groups. It empowers believers to act on his behalf to advance his kingdom. And so we can see that commission, what the definition of commission is. So I'm going to go over to Ezekiel. And I'm going to go right to chapter 2. And you can see the heading here says the prophet's call. But I'm going to jump down all the way down to Salaki. I'm going to go to Ezekiel chapter 1. And I'm going to drop all the way down to 26. And it says, and above the firmament that was over their heads was a likeness of a throne. So this is what Ezekiel's seeing. He's seeing a throne as the appearance of a sapphire stone. It says, and upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man upon it. So he's seeing a man upon the throne. Verse 27 says, and I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward. I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. Now, this brightness round about was at the beginning. You can see it says, as I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins and even upward. So from his loins and up, he saw the color of amber, and the appearance of fire was around it. So I'm going to go real quick. Take a look at what color amber is. All right, so we can see what color this color amber is. Amber. So it's like, it almost does appear almost like fiery, but it is got a reddish type hue to it. But it's a brown. So this is what he was seeking. I'll look at this image. Look at those images. From a lighter brown or golden brown all the way to a darker brown. This is the color of amber. So this is what he was seeing that was sitting up on the throne. All right. And that throne being a sapphire color. All right, I'm going to go back into because I wanted to read verse 28 also. It says, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain. So it was like a rainbow around him. So was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord Yahweh. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So he fell upon his face when he saw sitting upon the throne the likeness of Yahweh. And he describes what color he saw. From his loins upward and even from his loins downward, he saw the color. And he was amber. All right. So that's who he was seeing. I'm going to go on. Staying in the book of Ezekiel, I'm going to go to verse 2 because this is talking about the commission. All right. This is Ezekiel's commission. All right. So he's being appointed. He's being told to given some instruction by the one who sat on the throne, the Lord Yahweh. And it says the prophet's call. It says, verse 1, Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 1, it says, and he said unto me, Son of man, stand upon thy feet, and I will speak unto thee. And the Spirit entered into me when he spake unto me, and he set me upon my feet, that I heard him that spake unto me. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel. All right. Israel, before it was a place, it was a people. All right. Our ancestor, Jacob, was given that surname after wrestling all night with an angel. The angel changed his name from Jacob to Israel. So Israel was a place. Salakia was a people before it's a place. All right. It says, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation that hath rebelled against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even to this very day, and even unto this very day. All right. So that's very important, because whether you know that you're an Israelite or not, is making very plain that even unto this day, that Israel is still a very rebellious nation. All right. Verse 4 says, for they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. It says, I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh. And I wanted to stop here because I want to look at this word impudent. Okay, you know what? And it's not. Okay, here it is. It's H7186. And under the biblical usage, it says hard, cruel, severe, and obstinate. Hard and difficult, severe, fierce, intense, vehement, stubborn, stiff of neck, stiff-necked. And the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh describes us as a stiff-necked people, rigorous. And I'm going to drop down to the Strong's definition. It says churlish, even, cruel, grievous, hard-hearted, heavy, impudent, obstinate, prevailed, rough, sore, sorrowful, stiff-necked, stubborn. All right, in trouble. So Israelites are a stubborn, obstinate, stiff-necked people. All right. says, and they, whether they hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. And when you see the Lord's prophets, the men of the Lord and men of great millstone, are out on the highways and the hedges, bringing out his word, prophesying, giving instruction that was given to them because they've been commissioned to go out on the highways and hedges and do this. All right? And as we are out on the highways and the hedges, and I say we because I pray that I'm counted among those men, all right? But from the apostle, the elder apostle Tahar on down, the men of great millstone do that. They go out on the highways and the hedges, and they bring out the word to a very stiff-necked, rebellious people, because that's who we're speaking to. We're speaking to the Israelites. All right? Whether it be plain to see that you are a so-called black, so-called Hispanic, or so-called Indian. All right? Because primarily those are the people that make up the nation of Israel. But because we have been scattered into all nations, to all four corners of the earth, wherever that seed has been planted or been put, whether that woman that received that seed be an Israelite or she be of the other heathen of the other nations, all right, was produced from a Israelite man that brings forth his seed is an Israelite. So whether they look like the so-called white man or look like any of the other nations, if it's an Israelite seed that has been planted in that woman's womb, then that's what she's going to bring forth. That's what she's going to produce, an Israelite. So they can look just like all the other nations just as well. But that's what the men on the highways and hedges are out doing there, because they have been commissioned to bring forth this word. I'm going to go continue on in verse 5. It says, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. Verse 6, it says, and thou, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be afraid of their words. Though briars and thorns be with thee, and thou dost dwell among scorpions, be not afraid of their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. So it don't matter how you receive it, or how you your physical appearance or what is after hearing this word, whether you accept it or whether you reject it. The men of the Lord are commissioned to bring forth this word and to bring it out, whether you receive it or whether you reject it, because they are commissioned to do so. It is their job. It is what they are on this planet to do. All right. So even if you want to try to come up against them, you want to reject this word, or you want to try to go against this word, their job is going to be to bring forth this word. All right. And not to sit and to debate with you, because we're going to bring forth the 100% truth. All right. And there is no debate about when you have the 100% truth, because that's what it is, and it doesn't change. So there's no reason to debate. So you're either going to accept this word or you're going to keep moving on. Well, you politely ask you to move on. Verse 7 says, and thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. Salakia, I don't know if I skipped verse 6. I did want to, I wanted to back up. I'm going to read verse 6 one more time. It says, and I'll even read it in the NLT this time because I know I did read it. It says Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 6 in the NLT. It says, Son of man, do not fear them or their words. Don't be afraid, even though their threats surround you like nettles and briars and stinging scorpions. Do not be dismayed by their dark scowls, even though they are rebels. And I want to go over to Luke chapter 10. You know what, I might as well do it here. Luke chapter 10. And I'm going to go down to verse 19, and this is in red letters. So this is Yahweh Shai himself speaking. It says, Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. So when we're bringing forth this word, we're not apprehensive, we're not bashful, but we're going to bring it out in an authoritative manner because we believe and we know because it's written right here. All right, that the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai gives us the power because he has commissioned us. All right, and you may try to come up against us, but you won't prevail. All right, because we are commissioned by the Lord himself to do this, to bring forth this word. All right, and it's written right here in Luke 10 and 19, and we believe this. Going back to Ezekiel. Back to chapter 2. And I'll read verse 7 once more. It says, and thou shalt, and back in the KJV, says, and thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are most rebellious. Salakia. All right, then I'm going to go to, still here in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 2. I'm going to go down to verse 8. And I'm probably going to do this in 2 parts because I don't want to make this long. All right. Verse 8 says, But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth and eat that I give. All right, so he's telling Ezekiel to open his mouth and eat something. All right, because that's something that he's referring to. Well, we'll go ahead and read verse 9. It says, And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. In the NLT, verse 9 says, Then I looked and saw a hand reaching out to me. It held a scroll. So this scroll is the word. All right, the word was being handed to Ezekiel. All right. I want to go because this word is like food. This word is what sustains. It's our sustenance. All right. And I want to go over to the book of Job. Just to show that chapter 23, verse 12 says, Neither have I gone back from the commandments of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. So this word is our sustenance. This word is what sustains us. This word is more sustaining than edible food itself. All right. And that's what you see is the men out on the men of the Lord out on the highways and hedges after consuming, after taking and reading the whole scroll, all right, eating the whole roll. They're commissioned to go out on the highways and the hedges and bring forth this word and bring it out to the Israelites, all right. I'm gonna go to Psalm chapter 119, verse 103 says, how sweet are they words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. So this word is what sustains us. This word is our very lifeline, all right? Because we believe what is written here. We believe what is written in the scripture, and that's why we're commissioned to go forth onto the highways and hedges and bring this out, all right? Jeremiah chapter 15. And verse 16 says, thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and the rejoicing of my heart, meaning my mind, for I am called by the name, O Lord Yahweh, the power of hosts. So this word, this scripture, this written word is not just a book. This is our sustenance. This is what gives us life. This is what maintains us on a daily basis. All right, it's more important than food. All right, because you can go a day, two. Some people build up where they're able to go more than 2 days without food, without it harming them. But you don't go days. We read this book, we read the scripture daily, whether it be directly reading from the scripture, whether it be learning from a lesson. But this is something that we consume on a daily basis, so it's more important than edible food. All right, this is what sustains us. I'm gonna go to Matthew, and then I'm gonna bring out just a couple more, and I'm gonna end this. And like I said, Lord willing, I'll bring out a part 2 on this. But I'm gonna go over to the book of Matthew, chapter 4. It says, under the heading, the temptation of Yahushua, verse 1 says, then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. So Yahushua had fasted. He had gone 40 days and 40 nights without food. All right. Says, and when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. Verse 4 says, but he answered and said, and this is Yahushua, says, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. So you can see that Yahushua, after being tempted, after going 40 days and 40 nights without eating a morsel of food, after that tempter tried to tempt him and to turn a stone into bread, he told him that Man is sustained by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. So you can see that this word is more important to have in your system on a daily basis than even his food, because you can go a day without food and you'll be fine. All right. I'm going to go back into the book of Ezekiel. Back into chapter 2. Verse 9 says, "And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein." Verse 10 says, "And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe." All right, so what's written with lamentations, mourning, and woe? When you read the scripture, that's what you see. Lamentations and mourning and woe. All right, in the NLT it says, "Which he unrolled, and I saw that both sides were covered with funeral songs, words of sorrow, and pronouncements of doom." And when you read the scripture, it contains all those things. That's what was being given to Yahushua by the one who sat on the throne, by the hand that was given, that stretched out to him and gave him the scroll, that gave him that roll. And if you want to read more on that roll and who could open up that roll, because it had been sealed for a time, you go to Revelation chapter 5 and read verses 1 through 5, and it'll show you Yahushua himself being the one who is able to loosen this roll after it being sealed. All right, but like I said, I'm gonna probably Lord willing, I'm gonna do a part 2 on this, because I don't want to make this too long. But I pray that what I have brought forth has been edifying to the listener. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakadash, Shalom.